Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be doing a nice 2v2 battle, and we are kicking it back. We're not doing anything Attila, or Rome, or anything like that. We're going back and we're playing Napoleon Total War. Couple reasons for this. One, I just, first and foremost, wanted to shake it out. You know what it's like when you have to poop, and then you finally take that dump, and you just feel, you just feel so relaxed. That's kind of what the documentary making process is for me. It's passing a big dump, and I just need to relax after taking that big dump. It's a lot of work. I pooped it out on you guys, and I'm proud of that poop. It's looking very nice. But I just needed a change of pace, so that's why I'm going back and doing Napoleon. Definitely got to clear my mind. In any case, enough talk about poop. Let's talk about the players. So I am going to be as the Ottomans over here. And I guess we can go over my build. So my idea was to go take the hill here sort of lightly. I mostly wanted to stay close to my allies. So I have a couple of these mounted Nizami Sedit, one shooter cav here. And then I have a couple of these, what are they called? Like Samit Janissaries. So these are melee infantry who can move up, supporting them with some line infantry, skirmishers, more mounted guys. Line infantry here. I got my Sipai heavy cavalry there, more skirmishers, and I'm just moving along here, and again, more of these semi-janissaries and cavalry. Now, my ally guarding my right flank is actually going to be Frozenmen BG from the Sith clan, so he's going to be playing as Russia, so you can see we have a pretty good sort of melee force. I am actually built for melee. I have like swordsman units, and my ally has the Russians who were pretty good at melee stats. The rules for this were basically no getting into houses, max 5 light infantry, and no artillery. I think that I don't know. I feel like the houses kind of break Napoleon. They're very hard to take, and they can screw up the battle. And so, without making it about the houses, we just were able to play on the cool terrain features of this map. He has gone pretty heavy on infantry. He basically has a line of Jaegers in the front, backed up by musketeers, and then some of the lifeguard foot, who are pretty sturdy forces surrounding the back. And then he does have a hidden component of Cossack cavalry. Now let's go ahead and talk about our opponents. Over here is going to be Jetzu. He has his own YouTube channel. Make sure to check him out. He's kind of new to Napoleon Total War, so we did play a couple warm-up battles before this, and we're all kind of friends, so this is going to be a friendly battle. It's still nonetheless pretty epic. Let's put this on play. I actually might as well not make you guys wait. So he has lancers on the side, and he has militia guarding that, and then he has a whole line of, I guess, foot guards over on this left flank, and this is going to be a big clump of musketeers. These are just line infantry, and then Prussian fusiliers in the front, and then a couple more on the flank there, guarded by some infantry. And now over here is going to be the main opponent, the main guy I was worried about. This is Achilles from the Agony clan. So he's a really fun guy, and we were initially together on the same team in previous battles. We felt we were too powerful, so we split up, and we're here in chat in Steam, or no, Skype, talking to each other. And it's just a casual battle, but he made sure to coach up Jetzu, make sure that Sun knew how to handle this. So we're going to be facing off on the hill. You can see he's pushing up with his own lancers. However, I'm able to sort of face off his initial charges. Because my guys have mounted cav, whereas Prussian forces don't, I can secure the hill, and he can't skirt up with his cavalry, but that's fine. He's backed it up with a heavy presence of his own infantry. He said, we were kind of back and forth talking and joking, he was expecting me to deploy a huge component of my forces on the hill. I wasn't really planning on doing that. I wanted to have light contention of the hill, and mostly direct my forces into this sector, because I knew Jetzu, sorry if you're watching this, I knew you would be the weakest link, so I wanted to position most of my forces here to help, hopefully gang up on Sun, and then try and contest this territory. Let's put this on slow motion so you can watch a bit of the exchanges. I have most of my Nizami Sedit, who are very good skirmisher units, positioned up here, supporting each other. This guy has gotten a little too exposed, and so he's going to get some initial shots off. I wanted to get the first shot on the Prussian fusiliers, and then I'm going to pull back, but not after having some cavalry in close support to maybe force those guys to retreat. And then I'm covering my guys here. I did want the woods here so I can move in my own infantry on this position, and then also scoot some of my own Palestinian auxiliaries, and also some of these reserve Kamit Janissaries. This is where you want to put swordsmen, is in this mix, in the force where they're not going to get shot up. I do have some of my Nizami Sedit mounted, troops. The good thing about having the hill is actually line of sight is very, very important in this game. Even though it seems like he's point blank range and square, I didn't get any losses, so that's why it's important to contest the hill. And I'm just, doing these feints and charges, anything to force him back. And meanwhile, I'm going to do a controlled retreat on this flank without taking too many losses, just trying to see if I can pick up any easy kills with my mounted rifles, and then at the same time shuffling over some more troops here. You can see how he's broken up his formation of musketeers. That's going to be my cue to perhaps move, concentrate my cavalry, and get some forces in the mix. I'm also going to be able to turn these guys around soon, and come out from hiding in the forest and shoot these guys up. I'm also going to be redeploying some of my Janissaries, Janissaries, the swordsmen there. Now we can put this on play. So on this front, it's going to be long lines moving up, and he's going to try and secure the right side and try and swing in. Sun is moving pretty slowly. That's probably because our opponents are talking to each other, and they want to take it slow. They don't want either of them being too exposed. So we're going to take it easy, and most of the conflict is actually going to take place on this front. You can see my opponent is going to be coming in with some of these lancers through the forest. They're going to be slowed down quite a bit, but that's fine. I have some of the woods to protect me. He did target the best unit to target, which is going to be these auxiliaries. Not only are they pretty crap units, but they also are such crap units that they can't actually form square. So he did successfully pick off my weakest link. However, I did have some reserve forces who will be more than happy to chew into those guys. So I'm going to get some, backing up fire into his men. Going to pick off those lancers. Put this on slow motion. You can see how good Achilles is. He's not wasting this charge. He's going to disrupt my forces and then move in with fusiliers and combine fire on my Nizam and Sidit. Have some of his own fusiliers moving up close. However, I'm going to take advantage of that by moving in with some of my own Sifai cavalry, who are heavy cavalry. And look at this. Now I can get the flank on his lancers. I will totally tank that. And I have some of my own line infantry moving in. I want to reinforce this position because I don't want him to shoot up my cavalry, who are now going to get engaged in this fight. Let's watch some of this action coming in here. So my guys are in the forest, so they're not going to be quite as devastating as they otherwise could be, but look at that. They are just absolutely thrashing his lancers, and then I'll be able to push through. You can see right here, these are his fusiliers. Those guys, musketeers are coming in, but some of his fusiliers, I caught them. Those guys can't form up in square, so I have a good charge there. Over here, I sacrificed some of my Nizam and Sidit. Charge up here. A couple of them got shots off in the woods, shots off over here, and I just wanted to hold back this force because I had to reform my flanks, and so you can see most of my guys reforming. I tried to safeguard this formation over here. I waste my opponent's cavalry, so we're having pretty good exchanges actually on this flank. I had to yield this, wasted one of my cavalry to hold him back, but then in return I killed one of his cavalry, so it's pretty much even. Some of my own mounted Nizam and Sidit are going to help me hold the line. However, this is going to be pretty scary, so I'm going to probably fall back behind the ridge and behind the woods, and then also scoot some of these forces more over to the right, contest his flank and force these guys back. Over in the woods, we can go ahead and watch some of this. My Sifai cavalry are going to continue to just push through, continue to be slowed down a bit by the woods. He's going to throw some of his militia forces. Those guys are going to get run over, but it's going to buy him enough time to get the foot guards in action. He's going to be able to, you can see again, the line of sight is very important. He's going to be able to shoot just barely over his men and start picking off my elite units. So, kind of disappointed that my guys couldn't crush those militia units, but both of us are doing pretty good exchanges. And back on slow motion, shuffling around my forces, some more of my Sifai cavalry here, some more Nizam and Sidit mounted guys over here. Over on the right, you're not missing anything, don't worry. And now I'm starting to shuffle more guys towards the forest, towards the action over here. Like I said, I wanted to push this flank, get around the flank, turn this flank, because otherwise he has overwhelming numbers here. But again, line of sight makes it so that he has to get really close to actually hit me. I'm using the hill to my advantage. Even though it seems like my opponent did secure the hill, he can't really do anything with it unless he gets really up close to me. I'm using just the last, couple degrees of slope here to protect all of my lines. He's forced to come over. If he does that, then he exposes his flank. And look at this, I can get a nice charge with my Nizam and Sidit, who are first going to line up, get the rifles ready to fire, and then I can charge into this, not only form his guys into square, but also allow time for my some Janissaries to move in, and also these guys over here to have flanking support fire. So yes, I can charge in after those guys, but I'm going to call off that attack pretty soon. Yep, you can see me pulling it back before I take too much damage, and these guys are going to be able to fire. Foot guards are good to hold the side, but my Janissaries are going to be able to tango with that. Over here, it's still kind of a mix. I have my Janissaries into this position, and they're going to be cutting through these musketeers. This is exactly where my guys want to be, so I'm starting to churn up Achilles' forces in the woods. However, he's doing a good job of moving the elite units to have supporting fire and kind of throwing cheap units like these militia to tank my guys, make them tired, and then do more damage to me. He's also going to continue to wrap up this flank, fold back to meet my forces here. I've pulled back, so I'm going to get some nice shots. So it looks like his flanks are going to be threatened. And he does have a nice position here, and it's going to be more of a standoff actually taking place. My ally, thankfully, is going to actually pull in a lot of these Cossack cavalry. This is the big Russian charge that's going to be moving over here. What we figured we'd do is, instead of attacking Jetzu, who's formed up in a very, very nice position, and he actually, naughty, took the building over there. Can't really attack this head on, so what we're going to be doing is massing some of our Cossack cavalry and trying to break perhaps this position. So I'm going to move in with some more Palestinian auxiliaries, pushing the advantage with my Semite Janissaries. But you can see my opponent, again, Achilles is doing a good job of getting some flanking fire, whittling these guys down with both of his guys coming to massacre my guys. I am going to get some flanking shots on those forces, but he's going to be pretty effectively killing my guys. And there you go, that's going to cause them to break. Over on this flank, I am forcing his guys back with supporting fire from my Nizami Sidit. I'm bringing also one of my Sipai cavalry. These guys are going to be charging behind the line just to get over to that flank and try and push behind these guys. These forces, I figured, I could either throw them against his foot guards, but I'll probably lose them. So what I'm going to do is go into deep disruption, bring him back here, see if I can target units like the general or anything like that, and kind of cover the cavalry assault. This cavalry assault is actually going to be landing an attack through the woods here. It's kind of typical Russian fashion where they just end up getting gunned down. These aren't my forces, so my ally Frozenmen is kind of throwing away his cavalry. There's too many supporting forces, and I guess he didn't see these guys in the woods, so we're kind of throwing away our advantage there. The rest of the Cossack cavalry is trying to find another place to engage, and they're choosing a pretty good position, which is going to be the woods in here. But again, Achilles is doing a good job of having his guys supporting these forces, enough units in reserve to beat back any incursions, and then of course square is pretty unbreakable unless you have support. Speaking of support, that's what I'm doing over here. Sipai cavalry are going to land a very, very decisive strike on his musketeers. Break that up. Almost no cavalry on, no losses on my end in that charge. And I'm going to be moving in guys. Cossack cavalry are going to try and disrupt this formation, so we're kind of pushing all out here. And I'm going to be moving some of my own Semite Janissaries into the mix now that there's been some cavalry disruption to try and chop up these guys before they can once again reform. We are getting some mixes in here. That cavalry charge did allow us to move up with some Jaegers, so it's going to start to precipitate that action, but it is kind of a cold war over here. And now here we go. Now we're going to clean up, but he does again do a good move, having some cavalry here to exploit the lack of my units in that vicinity. Some of my own cavalry are going to be going for a rear strike on the general, so he's going to have to reform. Over in the woods, I am starting to break this. My guys are starting to waver because they're kind of tired. Sipai cavalry have been just demolished, probably because they're in the thick of the infantry and the foot guards are in here tearing it up. Fusiliers were able to break my guys. However, I have a fresh unit of Janissaries who should be able to break this foot guard unit who's been causing, basically destroying my flanking attack. But these Janissaries with double veterancy and, they're active, eager, and fresh should be able to tie that up. And now I'm going to move back and secure the hill while I've distracted. Look, all these forces have to turn around and face me. These guys in square are not going to be able to prevent my assault. However, down the center, they're going to have some reserve cavalry to break up this melee charge that I had in the center, plus supporting fire. That's going to put a halt to my advance. However, now I can seize the woods and push up. Look at this aggressive charge I have to try and put the pressure. However, he has positioned his guys in a very good place in the woods, so I'm not going to be able to take, make much of that. And Jetzu is actually doing a good job of massing all his light infantry and really ganging up on those Russian Jaegers. We can look at some of this fire going across. Let's actually minimize the map, get the most out of these graphics as possible. So he's just piecemeal massacring some of these Jaegers, whereas we have no one really advancing to meet these guys on the flank. Instead, he's going to be trying to advance here, and Jetzu does the smart thing, which is retreat back to this little hill and bide for time because he's winning in this sector. Over here, I got a lot of mass guys ready to chew in this formation. I'm really breaking that up. My Semite Janissaries are still chasing away the units. And let's see. Yep, my guy back here is going to continue to try and harass and target that general. Over here, Janissaries are going to be charging into, finally, the foot guards, but they're going to retreat. This is something you can do when you have two units, is obviously retreat one, have the other one fire. That's going to allow him to secure that flank. The rest of my forces here are basically whittled away. My general is now going to be committed to this fight, hoping he can break this engagement. I do have pretty good lines still surviving here. Pretty good disruption in the rear. These guys are facing the wrong way. Foot guards would love to be facing this way. And then we also have some of Russian troops actually pushing through here, mounted rifles, so that's just the breakthrough we needed to help clean up this front. And some of my own guys are in the mix here, my mounted troops chasing after these units and hoping to disrupt the foot guards. These are the units we have to break. They're going to form up into the square. That's fine. It's going to allow us to push forward, and the general is actually going to be committed to this fight. My line is starting to be turned. However, Janissaries actually looks like they are going to steer clear of those foot guards and instead go to break this force and relieve pressure on my army. over on this front, we are making good sort of, combined fire. I've broken up whatever resistance is here. However, fighting against these guys in the woods is going to be tough. I'm not making much of an advantage. Over here, we've kind of stabilized. Whereas on this front, it is now going to be up to the skirmisher advantage. And over here, the garrison forces are going to prevent us from really sweeping around this corner. So pretty good engagement all along the front. Jetzu is doing a good job of holding his forces together, having really thick lines. And yeah, holding up this front. However, he is starting to get chewed away. So this force is kind of being broken apart. If we had some more cavalry, we could break this, sweep around the rear. But that's why he has some reserve lancers. And over here, it's just a total meat grinder. I still have more Palestinian auxiliaries in the mix, and my own general is actually coming in here, charging, breaking some of the opponent's forces, causing disruption. Some of the mounted rifles here are going to help me. I was actually able to pull some more of my mounted rifles into the mix to disrupt his foot guards, keep them from engaging with my janissaries, who should be cutting up these musketeers. So I'm kind of throwing these guys away to try and keep the foot guards busy, and then allow my guys to just cut up these forces, and they're going to be coming back here, clean up this front. Over here, turn these Nizami CD to break up this unit. I know these guys are too far away to really do anything, so I'm trying to piecemeal break apart these guys. More mixed cavalry in the back to try and disrupt forces, and so now it's 2 foot guard units. Basically is all that's left on this front. We should be able to tackle this as long as we can break these units quickly enough and then descend on the next unit. And look at this, we're going to have, a total envelopment. I'm leaving some of my janissaries to break up this force, and then we're going to have a nice cavalry assault into this foot guard unit before it can form up, so we should win that. And then over here I'm going to be pressing the advantage, turning this flank. I have my own general still alive somehow, chasing the opponent's units, forcing them back. And so yep, doing pretty well. We're even able to break the opponent's general, so that guy is running away. Over here, it looks like we have actually kind of broken the rules. However, lifeguard of foot is going to be guarding this flank. That's going to be hard to break. Still a stalemate on that side. And we are starting to turn the tide on the Prussian Fusiliers. We're getting up close and personal. Especially with my support, we're going to be able to turn this tide. However, over on this hill, it's still kind of a mess. All I can do is delaying tactics. The foot guards should win in the end, especially with the loss of our cavalry. And see the Russians running away. Some of my own guys are still alive. However, I figure this is kind of a lost cause. So I'm going to charge these guys while I can, get some shots off, do as much damage. But they're going to form up in square. Oh, no, actually it looks like they lost just enough men not to be able to go into square. Excuse me. So I'm going to go again, all out on that, have this guy ping pong between the two. So I'm going to do as much damage as I can and then draw these guys out and see if they can't reinforce this, because I figure this is a more important battlefield. I'm using up all my ammo. These guys have been in the woods the entire time, probably lots of kills on them, and we're going to commit to breaking that so we can turn this flank and hopefully help with this front. Musketeers against the basically fodder units, we should take that. However, we are taking some morale hits. As for the skirmish engagement, I think we are kind of winning this. We're doing 2 versus 1 in some areas. Over here, it's a little bit more toss-up. But it's the big lines of infantry and reserve cavalry who we can't really deal with. So a charge from these guys could be pretty devastating. So yeah, some of the Prussian Fusiliers are out of ammo. They're committing to tying down our forces, but I'm pretty effectively turning this. My general is still in the mix. Came over here to try and rally my guys. Hopefully get my Nizami CD to rally, but nope, it was a lost cause. So I'm going to pull on out of there and actually leave these foot guards in the rear of my force. I don't care too much about them. So, yep, this is all that's left between me and Achilles. We kind of ground each other out, and now it's up to our allies to see who can finish them up. However, I do still have some forces left. And I mean, so does Achilles. He has a couple guys back here. He's trying to reform them. It's going to be a very close-fought battle. I have guys in the rear who are going to be chasing after me, so I'm going to try and finish up his guys in the woods, get some flanking fire. He's going to also reform on the other side of this small road. So pretty aggressive fights in the bushes. But I think I still have the advantage because I have some of these ranged units who I can turn about to try and pick off his foot guards. And then I still have some relatively mobile forces. However, they are, hot on the heels. The foot guards are hot on the heels. But I have mobile troops who I can skirt around the edge. You can see me pulling them over here, hopefully to snipe the general. I figured I need to turn the tide here. You can see we've taken pretty heavy casualties. We do have the flank and we do have the skirmisher advantage, but the Prussian line is just too thick for us, and especially with the cavalry assault, like I said, it's very deadly. It can now push past our thin lines. These lifeguard foot should be able to take them, but they're taking unnecessary losses because they're not formed up into square. Plus, yeah, lifeguard are getting hammered by so many lines of infantry, so yeah, we're kind of starting to lose this front, so I really need to help turn the tide of battle. Cavalry are engaging. Palestinian auxiliaries charge. I broke these Prussian Fusiliers, they're shattered, and now I'm going to try and descend on this last unit with the remainder of my guys. I think they're going to form up in the square, which is the cue for me to move into point-blank range. And then skirt some of these cavalry back here to try and clean up these forces. Looks like he still has musketeers in the mix, who I'm going to try and engage. I should probably lose that fight, especially with foot guards coming in. So very, very close fight here. However, look at my guys. They're very sneaky. No one is seeing these guys. These guys are definitely value. Reloading on the run. And now they're going to be going over here for a general snipe. I probably should have tried to zoom in and locate the general. Well, where is he? I think he's this guy in the center. But what I decided to do is just charge him outright. I probably could have positioned myself better to try and snipe the general, but I'm going to go ahead and get a charge without them reacting anyways, and just hope I can kill them. Throwing my own general into the mix because, you know, why the hell not? Disrupt this line if at all possible, give the Russians more time to win. And it looks like actually at this point we've gotten rid of the enemy skirmishers, and we have the forest with more range, Jaegers, so we could possibly win that. We also have the foot guards cleaning up this. So I think all Jetzu needs to do is turn the flanks, secure the flanks, and then charge forward, and he can win this. But Sun is a bit new at the game, so he's not quite getting all that. I was able to scare the general, and look where he's going to be running. He's going to be running for cover right in front of the enemy line. So a pretty dangerous move, but he does have kind of this little grassy knoll to protect him. So I wasn't quite able to snipe that guy. Jetzu realized the folly of his mistake. However, he is in a very precarious situation between both lines shooting, and we're charging up this line with the lifeguard foot, allowing us to turn that flank. Over here, foot guard have stabilized this front, and they're gonna be now chasing after my guys who are reforming. I still have some guys. I'm kind of getting broken up. More of my units here are stationed. They're in a melee with these, or a extended fight with these musketeers, and it looks like now control is gonna be wrestled from me, and go back to sniping Achilles, or Agony Achilles, sorry. So yeah, it's been a big back and forth over here, fighting for the scraps of that side of the battle. And over here, it looks like Russians under Frozenmen are doing a good job, but at the end of the day, I think Jetzu just has too many units left. And despite some of his small fumbles, like this general being sniped and finally breaking, I think he's actually going to be able to turn the tide. Well, I think. I've seen this battle. Yeah, he just has so many men that he's going to be able to turn the tide. So, yep. That's basically how the course of this battle is going to go. And over here, getting into melee with some of our forces. Over here, I was able to run and then turn about and actually break, I think, some of these musketeers. I feigned that I was going to run away, waited till I was in the forest, and then did an about face. Was able to break these guys. So we're playing lots of little cutesy games between myself and Achilles. And in Skype, we're kind of laughing with each other and whatever. But yeah, we kind of extinguished each other. We're both almost out of troops. And now I'm going to come back and try and save my forces. So yeah, really back and forth, close fought battle. And let's go ahead and fast forward this, actually. You kind of understand the gist of this battle. We're going to engage with the general staff, try and break this, but against foot guards, it's not going to be much we can do. Foot guards over here are going to return, but we lost our general, plus the sort of shoddy morale of the Russian forces is going to mean that they're going to crack and break. Whew, that was a lot of talking and a very big battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Napoleon battle, and especially with the players that I played with. Definitely a very fun battle. Competitive, yet sort of casual at the same time. Very friendly battle, and definitely good gameplay. You know, I hope you guys are enjoying this, and let me know what other games you'd like to see me play. Hopefully you can get other YouTubers on here. I always like sharing the love. And here you can see some of the stats. Frozenmen actually got pretty good amount of, no, actually got the least amount of kills. And Jetzu actually doing not bad. Agony and myself basically killing each other off. We brought almost the same amount of men, and he actually got more kills than me, so kudos to him. I guess he's the MVP. So yeah, that was the battle, and we can look at some of the stats. So my Janissaries definitely paying for themselves, 110, 106. My mounted rifles here got caught early in the combat, but the rest of them were definitely good. This one is the sniping general one. Nizami Sidik getting good kills. I want to see my cavalry, 5738, so not that great, but they're pretty good for securing some parts of the battlefield. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in one more time, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Peace out.